So my next question today has come from Anita, and it's a very important subject that she's raised, and also slightly controversial. So I'm going to explain all in my answer. So first of all, here's Anita's question. I've been told that it's now law to have properties tested for Legionella in Wales. Are the rules the same for the rest of the UK? Thanks, Anita. The answer to that, in short, is yes. It is law that you must make sure that your properties are safe from the risk of Legionella. Now, where the controversy comes is where the distinction between making sure your property is safe from the risk of Legionella and actually having a Legionella safety certificate, they're two completely different things. Now, there has been a case brought to the Health and Safety Executive where somebody has, where complaints have been made with regards to Legionella safety certificates that have been asked to be required from various letting agents and managing agents of properties. So I'm going to read out to you this particular scenario. So this is case 357. Where some consultants and letting agents misinterpreting landlords' responsibilities regarding Legionella risks to their tenants. And I was just going to read out what the issue has been. Some consultants and letting agents are using the revised L8 ACOP to suggest that new legislation has been imposed on landlords of domestic rented properties for managing and controlling the risks of exposure to Legionella bacteria of their tenants. This is wrong. The legislation has not changed, and misinterpretation can impose unnecessary financial burdens on landlords where they are being charged for Legionella testing and certificates they don't actually need. So the panel's opinion is that there is a legal duty for landlords to assess and control the risk of exposure to Legionella bacteria, but health and safety law does not require landlords to produce or obtain, nor does HSE recognise a Legionnaire's testing certificate. So this is where the misinterpretation or confusion has arisen. Legionella testing or sampling is generally not required in domestic hot and cold water systems, and then only in exceptional circumstances. Misinterpretation of the legal requirements by some consultants and letting agents about landlords' responsibilities to manage and control Legionella in domestic premises may result in unnecessary financial burdens being placed on landlords and tenants. The law is clear that if you are a landlord and rent out your property or even a room within your home, then you have legal responsibilities to ensure the health and safety of your tenant by keeping the property safe and free from health hazards. Section 3 and in brackets 2 of the Health and Safety at Work Act 1974 HSWA makes provision for relevant health and safety legislation to apply to landlords to ensure a duty of care is shown to their tenants with regard to their health and safety. Well, obviously as landlords we all want to make sure that our tenants and our properties are safe from exposure to any type of risk. But it's interesting to see that there is no such requirement for a certificate as such. Now, obviously it depends on whether you have the time yourself to go and check your properties for the risk of Legionnaire's disease and control that risk and make tenants aware, or whether you need to bring in a professional person who can go out and do that on your behalf. And in my experience, in that type of scenario, they would produce some sort of certificate or sort of a guarantee of the points that they have noted within your property. But ultimately, it is your responsibility to undertake this type of assessment within your properties to ensure that it's safe. But it's down to you as to whether you do it yourself or whether you get somebody else to assess the risk. And there are courses that you can take from the national recognised landlords associations in terms of learning about Legionella risk assessments, how you can do them yourself, what types of things to look out for when you're in a property, or whether indeed you can pass it on to somebody else who could do it on your behalf. But obviously that does come at a cost. So it's either going to cost you time to learn and do it yourself, or it's going to cost you money for somebody else to go out there and do it. So I hope that clarifies the situation with regards to Legionella testing, and thank you for that question, Anita, and I hope you enjoy your weekends.